All right, everyone, get ready, because we are diving deep today
Llama.
into the world of LLMs.
LLM.
Those large language models
Yeah.
that are really changing how we think about AI. You know,
Totally.
think about ChatGPT, but like on a much bigger scale.
Yeah.
And we're going to figure out
Okay.
how these things learn,
Okay.
and more importantly, how well they learn new stuff.
And that is the question, isn't
That's exactly what we're going to explore today.
it? Right.
Our deep dive today is based on a research paper.
Hey.
And the title of this paper is, get me, Fine-Tuning or Retrieval, Comparing Knowledge Injection in LLMs.
A bit of a mouthful.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But trust me, the findings are super interesting.
I believe you.
Okay, so this paper basically compares two main methods
Right.
for teaching LLMs new information,
Okay.
fine-tuning,
Yep.
and something called Retrieval-Augmented Generation, or RAG for short.
Right.
RAG.
Got it.
So RAG,
Yeah.
is it like giving an LLM a cheat sheet during an exam?
Oh, that's a good analogy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Array is all about giving an LLM access to this
Okay.
massive knowledge base right when it needs it. Like having this superpowered search engine built right in.
So instead of like cramming all this information into the LLM's brain beforehand,
Yeah.
we just give it the tools to find the answers
Right.
when it needs them.
Exactly.
Okay.
The researchers wanted to see how this approach
Okay.
compares to the more traditional method of fine-tuning.
Which is more like
Yeah.
hitting the books hard
Hitting the books.
before the exam.
Exactly. Fine-tuning is about
Yeah.
taking an existing LLM and training it further on a very specific data set.
Okay.
So think of it like giving it
Right.
very specialized tutoring
Yeah.
to become like an expert in a certain area.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But LLMs are already pretty smart,
They are.
right?
Yeah.
Why do we even need to worry about
Good question.
teaching them new things?
Oh, you'd be surprised how often LLMs get things wrong.
Really?
And it's not always because they're dumb or anything like that. Sometimes it's just because they've got outdated info or they just haven't encountered that specific piece of knowledge before.
So it's like using an old map
Yeah.
to navigate a city
That's a great way to put it.
that's constantly changing.
Yeah, and sometimes the way LLMs like memorize information can be a bit wonky.
Okay.
It's like they've crammed a bunch of facts into their heads
Yeah.
but haven't really connected the dots.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So they might know a bunch of random facts, but struggle to understand the bigger picture.
Exactly.
Okay, and that's why the researchers in this paper
Yeah.
wanted to see which method,
Okay.
fine-tuning or RAG,
Right.
is better at making sure LLMs truly learn
Interesting.
new information.
Okay, I'm with you.
So how did they test these different methods?
How did they test them?
Yeah. Did they give the LLMs pop quizzes?
Not exactly pop quizzes.
Okay.
But they designed some pretty clever tests.
Okay.
They focused on two main areas.
All right.
Knowledge-intensive tasks,
Okay.
mainly using this benchmark called MMLU.
MMLU.
It covers a wide range of science topics.
Okay.
And then they also did a custom-designed current events test.
Ooh, a current events test.
Yeah,
That's sneaky.
it is a little bit sneaky.
Were they trying to trick the LLMs?
Kinda.
Yeah.
They wanted to see how well the LLMs could handle information
Okay.
that they hadn't specifically been trained on, especially stuff that happened after their like knowledge cutoff date.
So they were testing if the LLMs could like keep up with the latest news
Yeah,
and like learn brand new facts.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And for the current events test, they used a very specific time frame,
Okay.
August to November of 2023. And they pulled information from Wikipedia
Okay.
to make sure everything was accurate and verifiable.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat. Spill the tea. Which method came out on top?
Okay, drum roll, please.
Okay.
Our gang consistently outperformed fine-tuning
Really?
in both the knowledge-intensive tasks
Wow.
and the current events challenge.
Hold on. I thought fine-tuning was
Yeah.
supposed to be the gold standard for teaching LLMs.
Right. That's what makes this research so interesting.
What happened?
It seems like giving LLMs access to a knowledge base on demand
Okay.
is a much more effective way to boost their factual accuracy.
I wonder why that is.
Yeah.
Maybe our gang helps LLMs like better understand the context of a question.
That's one theory. The researchers believe that having access to relevant information
Right.
really helps LLMs connect the dots
Okay.
and figure out what exactly is being asked.
So it's not just about having the information stored somewhere in your brain.
Right.
It's about being able to retrieve it
Exactly.
and apply it to the situation at hand.
You got it.
Okay. And it seems like fine-tuning might actually have a bit of a downside.
A bit of a downside.
You mentioned earlier that if you fine-tune an LLM too much, it can lead to catastrophic forgetting.
Catastrophic forgetting.
Catastrophic forgetting.
That sounds ominous.
It does sound bad, doesn't it?
What exactly is that?
It's kind of like when you learn a new skill and you accidentally forget an old one in the process.
Right.
With LLMs, fine-tuning can sometimes overwrite or erase previously learned knowledge.
That's wild.
It is a little bit wild.
So it's like trying to teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah.
But they end up forgetting their basic commands.
Yeah, kind of. And that's another reason why RAG might be a more effective approach.
Okay.
It allows LLMs to keep their existing knowledge intact while still being able to access new information when they need it.
Okay, that makes sense. But I'm still a little baffled by how much better RAG performed. Is there anything else that might explain its success?
There's one more interesting tidbit from the research.
Okay.
It turns out that simply repeating information
in different ways can significantly improve an LLM's ability to learn new facts.
Wait, are you saying that repetition is the key?
It might be a bigger factor than we initially thought.
To LLM enlightenment?
Maybe.
Oh. Okay.
The researchers found that the more they rephrased and repeated information, the better the LLMs performed on those knowledge-based tasks.
That's fascinating.
Isn't it?
It's almost like LLMs are learning the way humans do.
Right.
We don't just memorize facts by rote. We learn best when we encounter information in different contexts and formats.
You've hit the nail on the head, and that's what makes this finding so intriguing.
Okay.
It suggests that LLMs might be capable of building a more nuanced understanding of knowledge, not just memorizing a bunch of isolated facts.
Okay, my mind is officially blown.
I know, right?
This is all way more complex than I imagined.
It is really fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
We've only just scratched the surface here. I know. I think we need to take a little breather and let our listeners digest all this incredible information.
Agreed. This has been a wild ride so far.
It has.
We've learned about fine-tuning, RR-Reg,
yes,
and the surprising power of repetition.
Absolutely.
But this is just the first leg of our journey.
I can't wait for more.
Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll delve even deeper into the nuances of these techniques and explore some of the exciting frontiers in LLM research.
Very cool.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of LLMs.
LLMs?
I'm still reeling from that revelation about repetition
being
key to LLM learning.
It's pretty wild.
It's like these AI systems are mirroring how our own brains work.
It is a fascinating parallel.
It is.
And it opens up like a whole new avenue of exploration for researchers.
Totally.
But before we get too carried away with the philosophical implications here, let's circle back to the two main methods. We're comparing fine-tuning and RAG.
Right. Let's break those down a bit further.
Okay.
We touched on fine-tuning earlier, but I have to admit it still feels a bit like a black box to me.
Yeah. I can understand that fine-tuning involves adjusting the LLM's internal parameters, which are essentially these numerical values that control how the model processes information.
So it's not just about feeding the LLM more data. It's about tweaking the way it actually thinks.
Exactly. And that's where the expertise comes in.
Yeah.
You need someone who understands the underlying algorithms and can make those precise adjustments to optimize the LLM's performance.
Okay, so it's definitely not something I could do at home on my laptop.
Not unless you have a supercomputer in your basement.
Right, exactly.
And even with the right tools, fine-tuning can be a very tricky balancing act.
You mentioned earlier that if you fine-tune an LLM too much, it can lead to catastrophic forgetting. But what happens if you don't train it enough?
Oh, well, then you run the risk of the LLM not fully absorbing the new information.
So it's like
a student who shows up for class, but doesn't really pay attention.
Yeah.
They might be exposed to the material,
right,
but it doesn't really sink in.
So there's like a sweet spot.
There is a sweet spot, yeah.
Where the LLM learns the new stuff without forgetting the old stuff.
Exactly. That sounds like a tough needle to thread.
It's a tough needle to thread. It takes skill and careful planning.
Right.
And that's why some researchers are exploring this idea of combining fine-tuning with other techniques, like instruction tuning.
Instruction tuning.
Instruction tuning, yeah.
I haven't heard that term before. What is that all about?
So instruction tuning is like giving the LLM a set of guidelines or instructions to follow. Think of it like teaching someone how to use a new tool.
Right.
You wouldn't just hand them the tool.
Right. Say, figure it out.
No, you'd give them instructions.
You give them clear instructions on how to use it effectively.
Ah, I see. So it's like fine-tuning gives the LLM the knowledge, and instruction tuning teaches it how to apply that knowledge.
That's a great analogy.
Okay.
And this combination could be especially powerful for tasks that require more than just factual recall, like writing different kinds of creative text formats or translating languages.
Okay, so fine-tuning.
Yeah.
Powerful tool.
Powerful tool.
But requires a lot of expertise and careful calibration.
Absolutely.
Now let's switch gears back to RAG.
Back to RAG.
What makes this approach so different?
Well, one of the biggest advantages of RAG is it avoids that whole issue of catastrophic forgetting.
Right, because it doesn't modify the LLM's internal parameters.
It just gives the LLM access to a separate knowledge base.
So it's like having a reference library at your fingertips instead of trying to memorize every book in the library.
And that means you can constantly update or expand the knowledge base without worrying about messing up the LLM's existing knowledge.
So it's a much more flexible and adaptable system.
It is.
I could see that being incredibly useful in fields.
Totally.
Where information is constantly changing, like medicine or law.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Imagine a medical LLM that's equipped with our RAG.
Yeah.
It could instantly access the latest research findings and treatment guidelines to provide the most up-to-date and accurate information.
That would be a game changer.
It would be a game changer.
And I'm guessing RGAG isn't a perfect solution either.
Of course not.
What are some of the potential drawbacks?
Well, one challenge is ensuring the quality and reliability of the external knowledge base. If the information in that knowledge base is inaccurate or biased, the LLM's responses will reflect those flaws.
So it's like using Wikipedia as your only source of information.
Yeah, you might get some good stuff.
Right.
But you also need to be critical and double-check your facts.
And another potential issue is the computational cost.
Yes, the computational cost. Searching through a massive knowledge base can be very time-consuming.
Yeah.
Especially if you're dealing with real-time applications where speed is crucial.
You wouldn't want to be waiting 5 minutes for your AI assistant to answer a simple question.
No.
So both fine-tuning and RAG have their pros and cons.
They do.
It sounds like choosing the right approach really depends on the specific application and the available resources.
That's the key takeaway here.
Okay.
There's no one-size-fits-all solution. It's about finding the best tool for the job.
And the researchers in this paper went even further.
They did.
Exploring this difference between previously seen knowledge.
Previously seen.
And entirely new knowledge.
Entirely new.
Can you explain what they mean by that?
Sure. So previously seen knowledge is information that the LLM has likely encountered during its initial training, even if it wasn't specifically trained on that particular topic.
So it's like having a general understanding of something, but not being your expert in it.
Exactly. Entirely new knowledge, on the other hand, is information that's completely foreign to the LLM.
So it's like learning a brand new subject.
Yes. Think of it like learning a brand new subject you've never studied before.
Okay, that makes sense. And did the researchers find any differences?
They did.
In how well fine-tuning and RAG handle these two types of knowledge.
So both methods were effective
at
improving the LLM's performance on tasks. That involved previously seen knowledge. But when it came to entirely new knowledge, RAG had a significant edge.
That makes sense. If RGAG can access these external knowledge bases, it has a much better chance of handling information.
It does.
That's outside of the LLM's initial training data.
Exactly. It's like giving the LLM a lifeline to the outside world, allowing it to tap into this vast network of information that wouldn't be accessible through fine-tuning alone.
This whole discussion has been incredibly eye-opening.
It really has.
I'm starting to appreciate just how complex and nuanced LLM learning really is.
And we're just scratching the surface.
Oh, no.
The field of LLM research is constantly evolving with new discoveries and advancements emerging all the time.
Well, I can't wait to hear about those.
Me too.
But for now, I think we've given our listeners plenty to ponder.
I think so.
We've delved into the intricacies of fine-tuning and explored the power of repetition, and even touched on the challenges of evaluating LLM knowledge.
It's been a whirlwind tour.
It has.
But a fascinating one.
Absolutely. And for those who are still craving more, we've got one more leg of our journey ahead.
Can't wait.
Stay tuned for part 3, where we'll venture into the future of LLMs.
The future.
And explore the potential impact of these advancements on our lives.
I love it.
All right, welcome back to the final part.
Final part?
Of our deep dive into the world of LLMs.
Precisely.
We've covered a lot of ground already. From fine-tuning to our RAG to the power of repetition.
The power of repetition.
But now it's time to look ahead. To the future for LLMs.
All right.
And explore what all this means for us.
For us.
So where do you see this research going next?
Well, one really exciting area is personalization.
Personalization?
Yeah, imagine having an LLM that's tailored specifically to your needs, your interests, your learning style.
Like a personal AI tutor, almost.
Yeah, exactly. And this could revolutionize education, healthcare, customer service.
So many possibilities.
It's mind-blowing, really.
It is. And speaking of mind-blowing, what about the ethical implications?
Yes. The ethical implications.
Of LLMs becoming more and more sophisticated.
We need to be very careful about how we develop and deploy these technologies.
Absolutely. We need to ensure they're used for good.
For good.
And not for harm.
No harm.
And that they're accessible to everyone.
To everyone.
Not just a select few.
Right. Equity and access are crucial.
They are. And I think that brings us to a really important point about the role of humans in this whole LLM revolution. Because even though these AI systems are incredibly powerful, they're still tools that need to be guided
and controlled
by us. By us humans. Yeah, we need to be the ones setting the goals, defining the values, and ensuring that these technologies serve humanity. Not the other way around. Not the other way around.
That's a great point.
And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up. Our deep dive. We've explored the mechanics of LLM learning, the potential benefits, and the ethical considerations. And I think one thing's clear.
What's that?
The world of LLMs is vast, complex, and constantly evolving.
It is.
And it's up to all of us to stay informed, engaged, and to ensure that these powerful technologies are used responsibly for the benefit of all. So thank you for joining us on this incredible journey.
It's been a pleasure.
And keep exploring, keep learning, and keep questioning, because that's how we shape the future.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
All right. Until next time, stay curious.
Stay curious.